So not all tattoo tales are crazy, wild, hilarious stories. Some are actually feel-good stories. Here's one of them. So many years ago, I was at the studio in Brisbane and I was at the counter. I was just hanging out, waiting for my clients, had a bit of free time. And a young lady walked in and she started talking to us about getting a tattoo done. And she was kind of talking to me, a counter girl at the same time. I was sitting there with a piece of paper and a pencil in my hand, I was just kind of doodling. And she was telling me that she wanted this particular quote, but she wanted it kind of flowing along, but she wanted some flowers and behind it, something that went with the flow, and she was, going into great detail about what she wanted and what it actually meant to her. This is quite an important tattoo. It had a lot of personal, deep meaning. I was like, right, yeah, cool. And she was, she was really good at describing what she wanted. And I was sitting there sketching away, just kind of listening to her. And, she thought I wasn't really paying attention, so she was talking more to the counter girl. And then she turned to me and said, is that something you think you could do? And I looked at her and went, something like this? And I pointed to a design that I'd been sketching the entire time she had been talking. I was sketching out exactly what she wanted. Her face lit up like I'd never seen before. She's like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. Like, you were sitting there drawing that while I was telling you, I didn't even know. And it's exactly what I want. It's perfect. Can you tattoo it today? I'm like, of course I can. This is what we do. And that's no lie, that's how we used to do it back in the day. People used to walk in, ask for a design, and we'd sit there and draw for them. That's what tattooing is about. There was no iPads, there was no internet a lot of the time. I mean, there was at this time. But when tattooing was first, conceived, there was no internet, there was no Pinterest. We had to hand draw that stuff. So that's what I did for this young lady. I went, right, I've actually got time now. Let's do that. And she's like, great. So I started finalizing the design, getting it ready for her, and she came over to me and she started whispering. She's like, I need to ask you something. I'm like, what's up? What do you need? And she said, well, I want to ask you, do you tattoo people with hepatitis, with HPV? And I'm like, yeah, of course we do, no problem. She's like, really? I said, yeah, well, we have such a high standard and we kind of treat everybody like they have every communicable disease out there just to protect ourselves and our clients anyway. Our standards are that high that if we do tattoo someone with hepatitis, it doesn't matter, everyone's protected. And I said, you do have to, fill out a legal consent form to say that. And she's like, yeah, I'm aware, that's why I'm actually asking you. And I said, yeah, I've got no problem with it. And she's like, so many tattooers won't because they're afraid to. I'm like, well, like I said, I treat everyone like they've got it, so yeah, not a problem. So I did this tattoo on her. She was absolutely stoked. She loved this tattoo. As I said, a lot of deep meaning to her, so it was an important one. But she also became a regular client of mine. Yeah, I tattooed her for years after that, and she became a great friend. So this one is an homage to you, Siobhan. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me to do these tattoos for you all those years. And I hope your journey has continued well and you continue to get beautiful tattoos on you.
If you want to hear more, all you can do is like, subscribe, and hit the little bell to get notified, and you'll be hearing new tales from me every week, right here on Tales from the Tattoo Crypt. Thanks a lot, legends. Peace out.